Hello, Janice.
Hello, Anthony.
Today we'll talk about what happens if someone doesn't want their inheritance.
Huh.
This is very rare. Most people just take the money. But there are a few niche examples where the heir just doesn't want it for whatever reason, or there's a more complicated situation. And here we have a situation like that. Again, this is a real client story, but we have anonymized to protect our client's privacy. So Yvette was the girlfriend of somebody who passed away. They lived together. The whole family recognized that they were practically husband and wife. They just never formalized it. Unfortunately, the boyfriend passed away, and he was survived by an adult biological daughter, and he didn't have a will. So in that scenario, technically, who inherits and in what percentage, Janice? Pop quiz.
Daughter.
And what does she get?
All of it.
All of it.
She's
Bingo.
the only one. Yeah.
Bing,
yeah.
bing, bing. Gold.
Thank you.
But again, like I said, everyone in the family acknowledges that Yvette, the girlfriend, was like practically the spouse. So the daughter, also acknowledging this, is prepared to either not accept or at least share the inheritance with her father's girlfriend. Did I explain that right? Does that make sense?
Yes, you did. Yep.
So this daughter doesn't want basically all of her inheritance. So let's talk about how or what are the technical steps for her to sort of accomplish, sharing with her father's girlfriend. Okay. So let's right off the bat. You're not under any legal obligation to accept an inheritance. Some people think that you have to take it. No, there are ways to not accept it. But again, that's rare. Okay. So let's talk about something called disclaimer of inheritance rights. Disclaimer is the fancy word for refusing to accept and forfeiting your share of the inheritance. And what this means, for example, in Yvette's example, is the daughter would say, I put my hands up. I do not accept. I do not want to have anything to do with this. That's not what happened, but we're using this example. The pro is you sign one form and you're done. You have zero left to do with the estate. No one will ever talk to you again. If you're in one of those estranged or embittered situations, that might be what you want to do. The con, I guess, depending on your perspective, is that you have zero control over what happens. When you say I forfeit or I disclaim, that's it. You have no say-so in what happens after that. The law or the default inheritance law will determine what happens to the share that you said I don't want. And in Yvette's case, her boyfriend, again, died with a adult daughter. And then after that, he had siblings. So even if the daughter signed the disclaimer and said, oh, I don't want this money, it wouldn't just go to the girlfriend. It would now go to the next closest heir, which would be?
The brothers, the siblings.
Correct. So that actually doesn't solve in our scenario. All right. So let's talk about the next scenario. And the question is, can I give my inheritance to someone else? So can the daughter receive her inheritance and then make a gift to Yvette later on? And the answer is yes. The drawbacks, there's a couple drawbacks there. Number one, it requires the daughter to kind of stay involved for the whole duration of the probate, which is, as you and I and our listeners would know, over a year. And there's sort of a bit of uncertainty. And this is a disadvantage from Yvette's side. She won't know until a year from now if the daughter is going to follow through and share with her. Right?
Correct.
Because that gift would only occur after the daughter has received her share at the end of probate. Again, a year from now. So that creates, at least from Yvette's perspective, a little bit of uncertainty. Like, is the daughter actually going to do this? Or am I going to? Yeah, you just don't know.
Because she really technically doesn't have to.
Nope.
Right.
And then for much larger estates, there is a potential gift tax issue, but we're not going to get into that here because that's real fancy pants stuff. It's not really applicable to most people.
Very detailed. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So then lastly, and the solution that we've worked out for Yvette and her boyfriend's daughter is transferring an inheritance by executing an assignment. A lot of big words there. So instead of forfeiting her share, the daughter, instead of the daughter forfeiting a share, which means that it would go to the siblings, doesn't make sense for our scenario.
Nope.
And instead of waiting a year before seeing if the daughter will actually follow through and make, some sort of gift or sharing provision with Yvette, what we can do is from the outset, from the beginning of probate, we can sign an assignment agreement. And it basically says, I agree that whatever my share of the estate is, this is the daughter signing and agreeing, I give half, or I assign half to my, what do you call it? That wouldn't be a stepmother, but
No,
I don't know.
my father's girlfriend?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because there really isn't a title for
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
But anyway, she would sign a document saying whatever my share is, because we don't know what it's going to be till the end. And that's true of any estate because we don't know which assets we
Right.
might discover. We don't know which assets turn out not to be his. We don't know how big the debts or taxes are. So we don't really know what the number is. So it's usually a percentage, and she'll say, whatever we get, half goes to Yvette. So, and the pro for Yvette is that she has a little bit of certainty, a little bit of clarity from the get-go instead of having to wait. That is how we went about solving that situation for Yvette and her boyfriend's daughter.
Wow, definitely it seems like it definitely could be a complicated situation with this. I know we've talked about it in other podcasts about setting something up in advance may kind of alleviate some of this, correct? Is that...
Yeah, definitely having a plan would have solved for this. But, I mean, look, the real world is not everyone gets a plan done. I think more than half of people don't have a will. So that's why folks like me step in and help out. Yeah.
Exactly. And it sounds like the daughter is being completely reasonable in this situation. And it sounds like it definitely has worked out. So if you want to know more about how probate works, maybe not necessarily this exact situation, but in general, check out Anthony's book, How Probate Works, a guide for executors, heirs, and families, available on Amazon.
Very good. Hopefully this very, very, very unique situation was helpful to some listener, and we'll try to do more of these as the feedback we're getting is that these examples are quite useful.
Yeah, and it's interesting to know that this actually does happen because people have asked, does it happen and what could happen?
All right. Very good. Thank you, Janice, as always. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll talk again next time. Take care.
Talk soon.